Welcome to another Nortec thing. Today I'm going to be talking about binding a little bit. This is actually the second time I did this video. The first one I did maybe a couple weeks ago, and then as soon as I was saying how easy it is when you hold stuff a certain way, I just ran off the piece of work and the binding got all jacked up. So I figured it probably wasn't a good idea to post that one. But today I'm doing some Black & OD Kermit pouches. We're doing the green Velcro, black thread, black webbing kind of setup here. And just to kind of quickly go over what these look like on the inside. So these are about 5 inches wide originally, and they're folded in 1 inch on either side to make it 3. And then these are actually constructed very similarly to the original Alice pouches. If you look on the bottom, like if you turn them inside out or if you flip them over and look at the bottom, they're folded in and have these diagonal stitches here, or diagonal kind of folds. So mine are made, ostensibly the SOE ones are made the same way, because I've seen in a couple John's videos that he was talking about how he just kind of copied issue gear at the time, especially for kind of how some of the pouches were constructed, like the 2-quart pouch and the canteen pouch, and the 1-quart canteen pouch. So I had a couple questions on binding. Binding is pretty simple, guys. It's one of those things where you just have to do it. The more you do it, the better you'll be at it, and I'm not the best at it. So I don't think mine looks super clean. I can never get it like fully terminated at the beginning or the end with those nice clean foldovers that guys do. So I'll just show you my method here. Obviously, a couple of stitches front and back when you start. You can use a tiny screwdriver to kind of, if you have thick stuff, to kind of push the meat of it into your binder here. Also, don't bind by hand. It's a waste of time. Spend $10 and get a binder from Amazon or whatever that will feed the webbing in and then fold it as it gets towards the center, and then the end it'll fold it in half over whatever you're sewing. There's no reason that you should be binding by hand. It's just a huge waste of time. You might as well start hand sewing at that point. But you feed the work into the binder here, and it folds the webbing over the edge. So I also like to put a little bit of drag on the back here, especially when I'm going around corners. It just kind of helps it to lay flat. Whenever you're sewing stuff, it looks flat when you're holding it, but as soon as you start putting thread in it, it changes the tension in the material, and you can see, sometimes stuff starts to pucker up, kind of like right down in here, and that's just something that happens. So however you can mitigate that is fine. But let's take off here. I usually will hold this flat too and kind of push it in. I have my binding just sitting on a nail that I nailed into the side of my table, so it's just the roll is sitting on the nail, and it's just feeding off into here. Some guys will put, there's like a peg, I think my table doesn't have it, that goes back here. Some guys will put the binding back there and have it feed in. There's no rule, however you want to do it. You can work off the floor with it, however you want to do it. So coming up to the corner here, it's kind of like, not that I'm a racer or anything, but you kind of want to turn before it starts to get to the needle a little bit. And then just go slow, a couple stitches at a time. I found too, for some tighter corners, you can raise the foot up and then pivot. And obviously, if you kind of keep this tight, the binding is it's just a continuous piece, so it'll make that curve for you, so it won't look, really jagged. And just be cognizant of where you are in your corner or your turn. Try not to stop and get up and do something in the middle of a corner. If you have to get up and do something, come back to it, because you're never going to remember what your angle was. And it won't look bad. But I can just never remember what it was. So as you can see there, it'll flip up a little bit, or you know, kind of, you can do it the other way. That's just because of the tension of the thread. If you don't have a double needle with like a tensioner set up on it, like a specialized double needle binding machine, you're never going to get around that. Don't worry about it. You know, it's a symptom of a human person making your gear. If you want exacting precision and, you know, repeatable results every single time, you know, laser cut fucking CAD dimensions, go buy a laser cutter and get a, you know, $7,500 programmable sewing machine to make your stuff, you know. But as soon as you start putting a human on a sewing machine, especially, you know, one guy in a single needle who is doing everything on the same machine, just putting attachments on, that's just you're gonna get a little bit of imperfection. And you know, it's really not anything that anybody is either going to notice or really should care about. As long as the gear functions and looks clean enough, you'll be okay. Thanks.